And we are back again. It's your friendly neighborhood film watchers. It is Frankly Football, and I am your humble host, Brandon. We got some well esteemed guests with us tonight. We got DMV fanatic, guy who's with us many times, and Space Cowboy, my guy. But guys, the roller coaster has come to a stop. They said that the amusement park is closed. No more extra rides, and we got to get off. The Cowboys lost to the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday night with the odd score of 12-19. Tell me about your emotions after that game.
I guess I'll go first because I know space is going to go crazy. I already know it. Uh, my emotions, to be honest with you, is I was upset. Actually, I was more calm, but when Mark Holmes just kept
Mm-hmm.
asking me questions, I just kept getting madder and madder
Mm-hmm.
because, uh, I mean, quite frankly, I'm not somebody that needs to be sugarcoated about anything, right? Like,
There we
I'm not
go.
somebody that needs to be fed with anything. If Dak stunk, he stunk. If Kellen stunk, he stunk. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
And that's exactly what happened. The defense they played their butts off, and the offense let everybody down, and including the defense, and you could see it all over their faces. So I mean, I've had time to really digest it, and I got an opportunity to watch the All 22 today, which we'll talk about. But Dak's performance wasn't as bad as I thought it was originally, but it wasn't good. And
Mm-hmm.
I knew that night, and I still feel the same way, and I knew I was going to feel the same way. Is that it's time to divorce Kellen and Dak at this point.
There we go.
It's time to divorce them. That's my initial thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done with it. I'm done with this system. It can't win these type of games,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no more to be said. We've changed everything else for the most part, except for that system in Dak Prescott. His contract won't allow us to move him.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But you got to see if it's him because that system hasn't won shit. So excuse my French. I know. I know that
This this is not a children's show.
yeah, I know that it's not. But you know what I'm saying. I'm not trying to mess up, algorithm or anything by cussing and stuff like that. But
Of course.
um, that system hasn't won anything. It all it's done is take two quarterbacks and make them the same person. And at this point, like I've been
Mm.
saying for weeks, and their playoff records are identical right now, and they're both like identical, both 0-3 in the divisional round. Dak is Tony Romo now, so
Mm.
that system can turn a good quarterback into a guy who's trying to overcompensate for what he doesn't have. And I didn't think we'd see this, but we've seen it, and we know how it ends. So that's where I'm at.
That's interesting. It's we're living in the Spider-Man meme. That is crazy. What
Hmm.
what what about you, Space? How do you feel?
I mean, if I'm being real with you, I'm not upset or screaming and crying about it like others are because I expected this to happen. When you look at the body of work that this season showed, they were going to get caught up to. We
Mm-hmm.
talked about it all throughout the goddamn offseason. I don't want to hear Cowboys fans trying to deflect. It was talk about the team was trying to sabotage to bring in Sean Payton. We talked
Mm-hmm.
about how they were trying to sabotage to make certain players look bad. I heard that all. That was all the talk of the town throughout that entire period of time. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
the thing that lost you the first game of the year is interestingly enough what lost you this game. And what was that? Your lack of firepower and offensive schematic, like that ability to scheme against those defenses killed you. The exact same way killed you at the beginning of the year. You had nobody catch the pass other than Dalton Schultz and CeeDee Lamb in the second half, which is a big red flag. You had guys look like they were interested to be out there offensively. I'm sorry, but I'm looking at Michael Gallup, and you can't be doing this dumb bullshit where you let the DB. I don't care if it's a bad pass or not. I'm telling you right now that is inexcusable because shit like that happens.
Yeah.
I'm just being real with you there, and I'm sick and tired of this philosophy. I'm just so annoyed with the offensive philosophy and people pointing to everybody except that and the Joneses. It's always some player. It's always someone. I'm not excusing bad play. I'm not trying to sit here and be like that. I'm not. I've already talked about that on my channel where
Mm-hmm.
Dak Prescott didn't play well. Your entire wide receiving core couldn't get separation outside of CeeDee Lamb. You did nothing offensively that won you in Tampa Bay, which would have won you this game. If you did 50% of what you did in Tampa Bay, you probably win this game. And the only positives I'll say here is that last year you got dog walked. This year you actually went toe to toe with a legit contender. Whether you want to say we were supposed to win or not, that's another thing. But every year there's been improvement. But at this point in time, it's clear as day. Kellen Moore needs to go. I'm hoping he gets the job in Carolina. But here's the other thing. And I'm telling people this right now. Just because Kellen leaves doesn't mean the system's gone. You need Doug Newsomeyer out of here too. You need
Yes.
every last bit of this Jason Garrett-esque system that's been here since 2007 gone. If that's not gone, you're not getting anything different, and that's really my thing is that my expectation was this was a team that will make the postseason and win a playoff game depending on the matchup. They did exactly that. That's why I'm not freaking out. But at the same time, I understand that everybody's talking about Mr. Dak Prescott and what he can and can't do. But at the end of the day, like John was saying, it comes down to the system he's in. I'm not trying to say the dude is better than Patrick Brown. I'm not going down that route. But all I'm saying is that you were doing nothing to alleviate the situation. You made it worse. You purposely made it worse. His interception numbers went up because what was it? His pass catchers that we had on this team weren't good. I'm sick and tired of people overhyping them, and that's where we're at. I'm not going to scream. I'm not going to yell. All I'm going to tell you is just everybody should have saw this coming. And now everyone's acting all like shocked Pikachu face that it happened. That's just me. So,
and here's the thing, man. Just like you said, the remnants of that Garrett era, they kind of leave that odor, the stench along the hallways of the Star and AT&T Stadium, as long as Kellen Moore is there, because at the end of the day, he is the last samurai, if we'll use that reference of Jason Garrett. He is the last of the Mohicans. He is, whatever reference that I can use, because I am an analogy guy. He is the last one of Jason Garrett's disciples to walk through those halls. And as long as he is there, that mentality, that attitude will never fully leave. It'll stay there like a grime, like a grit, like a stench, and it'll never fully leave the clothing, if you will, from those hallways, the playbook, everything, you know. So in a way, it's necessary to get rid of Kellen Moore in the same way that it was necessary to get rid of Mike Nolan in order to advance the defense, you know. And I typed out a thesis, a manifesto, if you will. 2022 was a year to evaluate the coaches. Not necessarily Mike McCarthy, unless things went catastrophically bad, but specifically Kellen Moore and Doug Nussmeier. Because in a lot of ways, they were not coaches to Dak Prescott. They were peers or colleagues. Not only due to age, but because Dak played with Kellen Moore. So, there's not really that superiority there. So you have to ask yourself, can he or they truly coach him up? So going back to my original statement, 2022 was the year to assess the coaches. And in a lot of ways, they passed, but in the majority of ways, they failed that assessment. So it is in most ways, time to move on from them. And I'm gonna kind of stop myself before I go too far into that statement because I want to save some anticipation. I guess I'll use the word, but 2023 is in the off season and the season is where you look for further assessment. How do you guys feel about that?
You want to go, John, or do you want me to go?
How do I feel about the assessment and what we? Well, ultimately, we kind of have to know what coaches are going to be here, right? I mean, there's a couple of things you got to look at. The thing for me that I looked at is I have team needs, right? The two team needs that I have is new OC and possible new DC. So that's ultimately going to determine what the personnel is going to look like here. We also have free agents and stuff like that too. So
Yep.
Those are the first things you look at before anything. Like, who do we want to bring back? That's the first thing that you kind of have to look at. But that ultimately depends on who's going to be in the building and who is looking for groceries. So that's where I'm at in that process. You know what I'm saying? Like, we still have to figure that out. Kellen has an interview in Carolina. Dan Quinn has about 3 teams looking for him. So I think that once that process plays out, which should take a couple of weeks, I think we'll have a better gauge on how to attack it.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I hate that Dan Quinn has to be gone. Don't make your stomach just rumble, make your back itch a little bit.
In a way, I say in a way only because I felt like there's unfinished business, but those guys took care of business. Like last year, like this year, they showed up a lot better than they did last year, and they were hungry. You know what I'm saying? They weren't soft. They showed up for it. They were physical. You know what I'm saying? Like they played like it was their last game, and it was, but it wasn't because of them. So they played for Dan. They played for that side of the ball. So I only feel bad because of that. But if opportunity calls because you've earned it, I can't be too upset about that.
Okay. What do you think, Space?
Yeah, I mean, like, for me, if you know how this front office operates, the biggest thing is who is going to be your OC and DC first, because that will tell me a lot about what you're trying to do offensively. And of course, what I mean by getting a new OC, I'm not saying promote from within. Unless, like, defensively, that's a different story. You got Joe Witt Jr., who I would be very big on. If you are hoping to God to keep him, if Dan Quinn leaves, he's most likely going to leave with him. And that's what I was scared about.
And that sucks too, man.
Yeah. So my main thing is like, okay, can I make him a DC before Dan Quinn gets his hands on him? But odds are he won't accept that. He'll just go with Dan Quinn. So let's just throw that. So I'm thinking if the Cowboys aren't looking out of, which there are plenty of guys that are in, and I'll get to that conversation once we actually see Dan Quinn leave. But there are guys that are on other NFL teams that I would love to see come here and be a DC. I'm not a fan of promoting from within unless that system's. So if they promote George Edwards, I'm like, okay, but like I want something new. That's just my opinion. I like having new things come into the building. Offensively, because I'm an offensive guy, if Kellen Moore is gone, if I see Doug Nussmeier in there, I'm not even going to give a damn what they do because it's going to be the same thing. I've talked about guys who I would love to have as an OC, but the Giants kind of poached because I was a real big Mike Kafka guy.
Me too.
So,
but there's got to be another one. There's got to be another one.
Oh, there definitely is. There definitely is, absolutely. And so with that, I think that at the end of the day, you need to get a different philosophy. We know Mike McCarthy is a West Coast guy, but that offense was not West Coast. I'm telling you right now. So if it were me, get someone that can fit with what Mike wants to do offensively. And if you can do that, you're more than in a better situation, because then we'll be like, okay, wait, this is what the type of offense they like to run. These are the type of players they want to get. Then we can evaluate the players from that point.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm at in this process, is where do you go with the philosophies that you have established? Because if it's the same, I don't know what to say, because I'm going to be like falling on deaf ears on that, So
Yeah. I agree, man. I agree. You mentioned how Mike McCarthy was West Coast offense guy. And I want to kind of chime in on the importance of that. Kellen Moore ran like a bit of like an Air Coryell rooted offense. And as a result, Mike McCarthy wasn't really familiar with the terminology and the roots of the offense. Bringing in a guy who primarily runs a West Coast based offense, Mike McCarthy, if he so wishes, can take over the offense if he doesn't like what the OC is doing. That's why I think it's very important to bring in a guy who runs a West Coast guy, whether it's a Shanahan descendant or whatever, So I'm right with you there. So do you think anybody has any interest in like Aiden Durd? Because I know he was really popular in like the off season.
I'm sorry, who?
Aiden Durd, our linebackers coach. Because I know obviously Joe Witt is a big name, but
Yeah.
Aiden Durd was like during the preseason, for example, was also a really big name.
Yeah. He also had a big spotlight in when they had the Hard Knocks.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So he's definitely a guy that is big in that building. The guys love him and they play for him. So that's something that it's something worth thinking about. I mean, the way that this Cowboys defense played and actually working with like Micah Parsons and being able to take credit for helping shape that, and that's something that's on your resume. Like, for example, you want to know what I did? Me and Space was just talking, and he was just like, Mike Kafka was his guy. Like, I was like, well, who's the quarterback coach of the Chiefs right now? So I'm pretty sure teams are thinking about that, and I'm just like, oh well. I mean, if we're going to talk about offensive names, I already know. Like, one of the guys I already know because he was already a co-offensive coordinator and stuff. Me and Space will probably think about the same guy, but that just happens along the league. When you have success, people want to know where that success comes from, and just like Carolina is looking at Kellen Moore, like they're probably looking at, okay, the offense is top 5 2 years in a row, better than anything that we have. These guys are crazy. Dak Prescott sucks. He's good. I'm hoping they think that. Matter of fact. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is.
You might be onto something with that though. Any Andy Reid descendant or any Chiefs coach, because they have so much success with Pat. Oh yeah, I would look at that heavy.
That's because
it would make too much sense.
Because it's West Coast, just like Space was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not going West Coast, I'm gonna go with the coordinators that know how to run the ball. So it's either I'm going to go West Coast or I'm going to see what they have on that Shanahan tree. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it goes, and that's how it should go.
Absolutely.
Things that are working, you stick with them. And this defensive staff is cooking right now. But we're not the only teams that are going to get poached. You know what I'm saying? Like, D'Amico Ryans is getting head coaching interviews.
He deserves it, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Y'all ready to talk about the elephant in the room? How did y'all feel about Dak's play on Sunday? Space?
Yeah, I'm gonna let Space go first.
So at first I was like, okay, we're moving the ball slowly, but like, where are the deep shots and stuff? And I'm not trying to deflect from it, but this is my main thing is like, okay, there are moments where it's like, oh, that 4th and 4 when you ran, that's a good decision. But then I'm like, okay, why are you forcing it to Lamb? Like, what are we doing here? I understand that the pressure's in your face, but you got to make a better read because you missed out on not Dalton Schultz, I'm sorry, T.Y. Hilton on a 3rd down that would have gotten you a touchdown. The second interception, I'm like, you should know the situation. It's second and 2. I get it. Let me get the ball to my playmaker, but that's something you can't do. And you know, I had to look back at it because I'm like, it didn't feel right, but I was just like, I don't know if I'm in the minority, but it's like he didn't do well, but it wasn't like he was complete shit during the game. Like it was just he made a handful of key mistakes that resulted in, and like, oh, Space, you're under. Like, no, I'm not afraid to tell you the dude made shitty mistakes. Like I told you, the third down, which would have led you to a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
The communication is another thing I wanted to talk about because with the Michael Gallup thing, I understand what Michael Gallup did. I'm not sure if it's the option or I don't know. Dude, I don't know where you were throwing that. I have no clue. I'm not in the
Yeah.
room, so I couldn't tell you. But so I'm like, I'll just put it on both. But otherwise, I would give it like, if I'm being real, I'll give it like a D plus C minus. I mean, like I'm not a fan of what he did that Sunday, but it's really the thing that killed you the most was the second interception. That's what killed you. But
Mm-hmm.
considering knowing how this 49ers defense likes to attack you, I mean, what am I gonna say? Like, dude, like you should have you had plenty of opportunity. That's all I'm gonna say.
I agree. DMV.
I thought, like I said, I watched the All 22 and it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought, but it wasn't good. I'm right where Space is, probably D plus. I'm at about a D plus, and he had actually worked himself to probably about a B minus up until about really I'd say the 4 minute mark in the game.
Mm-hmm.
When we got the ball back from the 350 mark on, he completely stunk.
Yeah.
Completely stunk. The moment was too big for him. Not much of an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, all that stuff. Dak, moment got too big for him. You could see him. It looked like he was maybe possibly, I don't know if I want to say he was hyperventilating on the bench, but you could definitely tell 3 and out, like it was nothing. And then I don't know what the hell that last possession was. No, it was 50 seconds left. But, I was at Mark's crib and we were talking. And they're like, well, you only got 50 seconds left, no timeouts. I'm like, shit, Mahomes will drive down the damn field. Like,
Yeah.
what are y'all talking about? He did it in 13 seconds. Like, Aaron Rodgers would drive down the field probably in that moment. If it was us, he would.
He did it on us with one leg.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, moments like that are what you live for. That's what you said you wanted. And I just don't think he delivered. No, it's not that I don't think he delivered. I know he didn't deliver. But I think what I was more disappointed with was, I'm okay with you not delivering in the playoffs, right? But
Mm-hmm.
leave that promise shit for somebody who believes in fairy tales still, because you've been making promises for 4 or 5 years by now, bro. At this point, you're part of the problem. So I'd rather I'd rather you not make promises, and I'd rather you just put your head down and work. Like, who's the guy behind me right here? Kobe Bryant, right? When Kobe didn't have Shaq, there were a lot of doubts about Kobe. Um, there were a lot of detractors. Kobe probably was just as hated as Dak Prescott. And you want to know what Kobe became? Kobe became the Black Mamba, and eventually he put his head down. He was always the best at what he did. You get what I'm saying? He was always the best. But once he got help, then he started winning championships, and then everybody forgot that. So my thing is, put your head down, stop giving us lip service, and go to
Mm-hmm.
work, bro.
There
Like,
we go.
stop giving us lip service at this point as the Cowboys quarterback. You're being what you think people want you to be, and that's my problem. Uh, I feel like at this point, bro, become Hoodie Dak, become a villain, play that role well, and go to work. I'm not saying Dak doesn't go to work, but dog, stop being the politician at this point. Stop being the politician and get a little cutthroat. Because what I saw with that 4 minutes to go, I saw somebody who ain't want that moment. Somebody who said they wanted it. So your promises mean nothing to me at this point. And that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about Dak's performance.
Absolutely, man. We've heard constantly, oh, this will never happen again. I have to improve. This isn't who I am. And last but not least, next year we'll get back here and it won't be like this. Um, after doing this, anybody who's been in a relationship, if a person constantly does wrong by you and they say, oh, I'll get better, but then their actions don't reflect that, eventually you just sit there and you just, okay, it eventually the actions don't meet up with the words. So yes, the actions have to meet up with the words that Dak is giving us. And it start right now he's becoming a caricature. There we go. That's the word that I wanted to say. Sometimes English is hard. So what he has to do is, yeah, you refer to it excellently, become hoodie Dak. He has to be the guy who, when the rubber meets the road, really, really lock in and be that guy that no one wants to see. Because 2023, the off season and the season, is going to be really awkward for him. Because the stars align perfectly. Not for him, for the team, if they want to make it uncomfortable. I'll repeat it again. The stars align perfectly, not for Dak, for the team, if they want to make it very uncomfortable for him. Because Dak's contract has 2 years left on it. But after the 2023 season, there's a potential out for them. And also, the 2024 draft class is chock full of amazing prospects. I'm draft guy. Oh, I pay attention to these things. Deion's son comes out in 2024. Along with a lot of other guys.
Caleb.
Yeah. Who else? Rattler, I believe. A lot of other guys come out in 2024. So this is Dak's time, this offseason, and the upcoming. Well, I shouldn't say upcoming. The 2023 season is the time for him to show and prove. He can't be media guy. He can't be, the poster child, the whatever I'm not sure what other figure word we can use. He has to lock in and perform, because otherwise things are going to get very uncomfortable for him. And I have to word this way because I am not cut Dak in 2023 guy. But this is not a relationship. This is sports. This is not a relationship. This is sports. There is no blind loyalty. I'll give an example. The Eagles made it to a Super Bowl and they had Carson Wentz. Wentz had MVP votes that year. They said, no, we're not satisfied. Shipped them off the year that they drafted Jalen Hurts. The 49ers made it to a Super Bowl and multiple NFC championship games with Jimmy Garoppolo. They said, no, we're going to sell the farm and draft Trey Lance. Even though they did not hit on that pick, and they hit on, they may potentially have hit on Brock Purdy. Just beat us with him. The Patriots, throughout Tom Brady's GOAT level reign, drafted 3 quarterbacks throughout that time frame, including Jimmy Garoppolo, who they had to trade just because of politics. The Rams had Jared Goff, who I believe that didn't they make an NFC championship game with him?
They made it to a Super Bowl with him.
There we go. They made it to a Super Bowl with Goff. They said no. We're not satisfied. They went and got Stafford, won a Super Bowl the very next year. So this is not a relationship. This is sports. There's no blind loyalty. That's akin to Stockholm syndrome.
You're right.
And Brandon, I would actually agree with you there if it wasn't for one key factor that differentiates the Dallas Cowboys from all those other teams.
Mm-hmm.
Your GM doesn't have any fucking pressure. He's not going to get fired.
That's true. That's incredibly true.
So I understand what you're saying, and yeah, I agree. Listen, if it means that getting rid of Dak Prescott will lead to a Super Bowl, sure, I don't have a problem with that. But this is the problem: we're in reality, and we have to understand the concepts of how this team operates. They are not under any pressure to give a fuck. They don't care. All they care about is, can my team look decent enough so that people aren't going to look away?
Yeah,
that's just pretty much it. You know, the reason the Eagles are about to get back into a Super Bowl is because of the fact, you want to know why? Because Carson Wentz was an asshole in the locker room, and they were like, fuck that. I could go get someone else that could do the exact same shit. And I'll make sure that when I get that rookie quarterback, the one that I want, I'll go and spend that money to open the window wide open. You want to know what the Cowboys did with rookie Dak Prescott? We're just going to sign bargain basement guys. We're going to just draft and hope to God that it works. That's not a winning formula. I'm sorry. I'm more than happy to be like, fuck 2023, tank the season, go get a whole new thing, and let's just start this thing over from scratch. I think that that's fine with me if it means that we get to where we want to go. But I know that this team isn't going to do that. If they're not going to do that, that doesn't mean that, okay, Dak, you need to stay. No. All I'm just letting people know is that it's not going to change. You can get Dak out of the room. You got Tony out of the room because of the great circumstance you were in. Nothing changed. Nothing changed. I'm sorry. Like, that's just the truth of the matter. You know, I would love for this team to do what the Rams did. I would definitely be in that agreement if they did that. If they showed me they can do that. But they don't want to do that. They don't care. And this is the big thing with talking about like hoodie Dak. I need Dak Prescott to go out and be like, I don't give a fuck what you're doing. Give me better fucking receivers. I hate my coach. I do this. I get it that Dak wants to be the nice guy. You can't be the nice guy anymore, bro. You can't. You saw what the fuck they were trying to do to you, trying to get your money. I don't fucking care. Dude, they did you dirty, and you are literally trying to be the company guy. Fuck that. If I saw that, you know what I would have told him? I'd have been like, fuck you, get me out of here. I would have just been straight up with him. And I understand. Listen, I'm an introverted guy. I'm not afraid to tell when someone's trying to screw me over. I'm not afraid to fucking call you out. That's the thing that Dak needs to do is that, listen, man, I get it. You want to be a team player. You're saying these things because you're trying to look good in the face of the brand. But I'm telling you, bro, that shit ain't going to get you nowhere. It's going to get you in the same position you're in now and why you're getting the blame for it. If you like, I'm not saying him playing bad is inexcusable. I'm not trying to be like that. What I'm trying to say is, dude, I know why you're where you're at. And it's because you're not being vocal enough. You're not. You just need to go up to them and be like, listen, dude, I don't know what the hell you guys are doing, but you guys slandered me on social media. You guys got me no fucking weapons. You got me a fucking goddamn offensive coordinator that isn't doing anything to make me look good. Don't be afraid to speak up for yourself. That's all I'm trying to say, bro. You had to speak up for yourself. And if it means you get traded, fuck it. At least you'll be in a better position than where you're at here. I'm just being honest with you, dude. You're not going to win anything with this organization. That's why I was like, dude, I'm telling you, if you know the Cowboys, listen, they know they need him because if they don't have him, they're gonna be in this limbo-esque area where they can't do anything. He has all the leverage and he's not doing anything.
Yeah, and that's it. He's so prideful and saying he doesn't need it. And I'm with you. That's kind of what I was getting at with Kobe. What did Kobe do when things weren't going his way? He went in the parking lot and said, ship buying them ass out. Trade me. I want to be traded. You get what I'm saying?
You wanted to go to Chicago. Yeah, I want to get out of here. And you know what the Lakers did? They went out, they got Pau Gasol. They went and made those trades to make their team better and make them title contenders. Dak, you have to do that, bro. And even guess what? Even if they say no, call their fucking bluff and go somewhere else. I'm looking at this as in the sense of the career. For the team, different topic of conversation because you know where I'm coming from. The fact is dude, I'm looking out for your career. You're 30 years old coming up next season. I understand, like, and you're right now you don't have a legacy. I'm telling you, if you want to do what's best for your career, I understand you grew up a Cowboys fan and did all that. This is a business, bro. You got to understand that if you know the situation you're in, it's not going to be good for you. You're going to get slandered all throughout social media like you just did. And whether you want it or not, you looking like a bitch doing it ain't going to be the way that people are going to like you. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's tough love, but you need to speak up for yourself. Don't be afraid to do it. If it means that they're going to give you shit for it, who gives a fuck, dude? You saw what they did to you when you got injured.
And you saw how they did him when he wanted to get paid too. So I mean,
that's all it is, man. It's just, dude, this is not. And listen, I do this shit. I've been doing this shit for 10 plus years, and I've seen this front office do the exact same thing with Romo. Romo was afraid to speak up for himself. Or not even afraid. He just didn't want to. I'm sorry. Dak feels like he doesn't want to speak up because he's scared about it. And I'm telling you, the next guy is going to fall in line as well. It's just the Cowboys' way.
There's going to be another Dak. It's coming.
And I swear to God, dude, if I see this fucking fan base, and I'm seeing it right now, and some content creators and stuff like that going like, we need to get a new quarterback, and it's all is forgiven. I'm going to tell you right now, even if Caleb Williams was on this team or someone else, you know how the Cowboys operate. It's not going to do anything different unless they change. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter. And I better not see some bullshit where it's like, oh, wow, I really wish we had Dak Prescott right now. Because this is the reason why we get clowned on as a fan base. Because we're all these fucking baby bitches that don't understand how the fuck things go down.
Boom.
I'm sick and tired of the bullshit from everybody. Stop it. Stop not understanding why we are in where we're at. People are doing the same shit with Roma as they're doing with Dak. And I'm not saying this because I like Dak. I'm saying it because I'm fucking tired of people being fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Stop. I see it from people in this fucking content creation space being like, oh, and I'm not trying to say this to you, Brent. Like, oh, look at what Philly did. Look at what I get that. I agree with you there. My problem is you don't know the context for how this fucking team works. So stop fucking lying to people. Stop lying to yourself thinking it's good. Oh, we could change the quarterback and it's magically going to fix itself.
Nah, it's not.
It's not. I'm sorry. Like, and that's not me saying like Dak's any good. Listen, Dak could suck in 2023 for all I give a fuck, and it's not going to change anything.
But he does need help, bro. He's not. Dave Helm said it best. He's not. He's not good. He's not good enough to overcome what the hell he has right here. Like, and we've known that for quite some time. Of course. We've known that. You know what I'm saying? I've been saying that. You know what I'm saying? Like, is he my quarterback? Yeah, he's my quarterback. But I'll tell you what. Did you hear how I just said it? Yeah, because for the moment. Because they're going to Derek Carr his ass. He played bad again. So that's why you got to go into hoodie Dak. Like screw the commercials, bro. You got $40 million or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Make your investments quietly and you know what I'm saying? But if you really about this business, if you really about football, man, you go into the cave, bro. Go into the cave. You hear me? Like, get off Twitter, all that stuff. You know, don't look at the TV. And you go to that front office, like you said, Space, and you tell them, I need this, this, and this. And if it's not that, then I'm willing to lift my no trade clause. I'm willing to lift my no trade clause.
Gotta happen.
What can we find out there?
Got to happen.
You know what I'm saying? But here's what it is. Oh, my guy, Rome.
There we go. We got Chris and Rome in the building.
I can't even be quiet. I was looking for the link. I can't even be quiet. We talking about lifting no trade clauses and whatnot.
We just said Dak got to become hoodie Dak, bro. He got to stop being the guy that everybody love. That he, you know what I'm saying? He's trying to become the guy who he thinks everybody wants him to be. At this point, bro, they're not like the people ain't gonna like you whether you're doing good or not, bro. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Today, you know what I'm saying? It's to the point now that I can't even be critical of Dak because, either you gotta, you can say something good about Dak and the haters are gonna say something. You can say something bad about him and then you're feeding into this just blind rage and hate, bro. Like, these people need help, bro. These people need help out here, bro. They need counseling. This shit is bad, bro. Like, somebody can throw you off your rocker like that off a football game, bro. Shit crazy.
And this is exactly why people hate the fan base, and why I say this with all due respect. This is why I fucking hate being a Cowboys fan sometimes. You want to know why? Because the fact of the matter is, I shouldn't have to go on fucking Twitter and look at a bunch of Neanderthals acting like, oh, we need a new quarterback, and that's gonna fix everything. Listen, if you know the dynamic of what happens here in Dallas, you will know that it doesn't matter who the fuck you have in here, right? So I'm telling you right now, everybody that I see on YouTube, Twitter, and you name it, I don't give a shit who you are. I see you. Don't be suckered into the bullshit. I'm telling you, man. It doesn't matter. And I'm telling you right now, I said this, and you guys remember when Dak was trying to get his contract extension, when he got franchise tagged again, I said, bro, you need to go rogue. You need to go rogue, and you can't be afraid to say something, because you know what happens? This is what happens when you have a front office that has no pressure not to do anything. This happens when you have a team that doesn't give a shit about having a offensive philosophy. Or rather, I'm sorry, they want an offensive philosophy that they exactly want. They don't want any of this modern stuff. I'm telling you, dude, I would love it. And I'm not saying this out of hate for Dak. I'm saying this because for the sake of his career and knowing what he has to do to get in a good position to not get slandered like the team's social media account did to him. You need to go out and be like, bro, I'm sick and tired of this shit. Trade me. Trade me and see what the fuck happens. They don't love you, bro. They don't.
They never gonna love that.
Okay.
Exactly. It's cool though. Like, everybody just need to realize what we dealing with, and then we can move forward in a better place. You know what I'm saying? Dak needs to understand the fan base will never love him and stop focusing on trying to get love.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't even focus on that. You should focus on the teams. The whole goal of the offseason should be how to make what we do better. That's the problem. Like, the fan base is so enamored with everyone else that they want Dak to be somebody that he's not, and then Dak feeds into it, and he goes out there and he starts to do stupid throws and heat checks, and he thinks he's Patrick Mahomes. You're not. It's okay though. Zion Williamson don't go out there and be like, I'm about to outshoot Steph Curry in threes. That ain't your game. Stop trying to make it your game. And that's Dak's problem. Ever since he's been trying to feed into, I'm just as good as, look, man, the only reason you are here is because you're a hard worker. You was a 4th-round pick that worked your way into this role. It wasn't given to you. He didn't gotten away from that, though.
Yes.
And that's his problem.
Okay. So here's a question I've been wanting to ask y'all ever since Sunday. So, whose fault is it that once Pollard goes out the game, right, and gets hurt, they don't have a counterpunch? Whose fault is that?
Kellen's.
Right.
Yeah, you know the answer to that one.
Right. Right.
But
So,
I will say this:
ultimately,
Dak got to take some culpability, because he has to man up and say, "Yo, I don't rock with this." It ain't just 0%. He can't be a robot. You gotta be like, "Yo, man, you want them to run 4 button hooks? That's what we about to do." He's gonna play for his call. Like, that's what we about to do. Versus Fred Warner, we running 4 button hooks, but he don't do that. He just let it rock. So that's part of the problem.
CFT. So Ron, what you saying is that because he doesn't step him, come into the huddle after Pollard goes down, it's 2nd and 2. He doesn't say, why are we running this dumb stuff, and go to something else? Or during the week, there's no contingency plan that if somebody gets hurt, that we can't keep running the same offense we want to run. Because once he got hurt, they were moving the ball and this, that, and the other. But once he got hurt, it was like they had no other answer inside of that. Because see, me personally, I think they had some options to win that football game. His poor decision on that play was one. The other one, when you got the 40-yard pass down to Lamb, that he doesn't look to his left and see T.Y. running up the seam. I mean, how many targets did T.Y. have in the whole game?
Like,
let me tell you the sickness of our offense. Let me tell you the sickness of our offense.
Go ahead.
Those plays aren't 4 button hooks. It's 4 option routes. and it's 4 receivers that aren't in sync enough to know I can't run the same route as the other 3 dudes next to me. That's the
Yep.
problem. It probably wasn't even designed to be 4 button hooks, but the one person that's supposed to stretch the field decides that I'm a run a stop too. And then you look across when you look at the film, it's like we all ran stops. Yeah, because y'all idiots. Who gonna clear up the field?
Yeah. I mean, but we've been saying this about Kellen's offense the entire time. Like I put on Twitter, I hope he loves Charlotte. Charlotte's my hometown. I hope he goes there. It's a great city. I can find him a great place to stay. I mean, I
no,
really do.
Charlotte. Oh no,
Yeah.
Panthers.
Hey,
Panthers don't
no.
take him. Don't
Yes,
take him.
no. Oh yes. Hey, no shit. Hell yeah, take his ass.
No,
Hell yeah, take
no.
his ass.
We don't want him to go. No.
Yeah,
know
please. Hey, I'm starting to go for me. I got a trash bag to get him down the road. I'm to the point, man. Listen, I have seen all I need to see of this marriage of Dak Prescott and Kellen Moore. I was telling Scout, I was telling Steele this morning. I said this is like Kenny Lattimore's song. We should try to separate them because things just ain't working out. You know what I'm saying? You know, because it don't make no kind of sense, man. Because you're going to end up being in a position where, and we've said this together on this space before. That is, you know, Dak is Tony now, and Tony is Dak because they in the same boat, man. This organization is going to say, okay, hey, we're going to be relevant. We're going to keep it this way, and we keep doing the same thing over and over. That's what we got going on.
The difference is, though, when Tony was playing quarterback, Jerry was more controlled. They would take a big swing. They would go get a TO.
Yeah.
They sent Dak out there with Dennis Houston.
Well, nah, they didn't get TO for Romo. They got TO for Drew Bledsoe, I thought, right? Yeah, they got him for Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah, it was originally for Drew, bro, because he was I think he came here 2005.
They still went to big swings.
Yeah, Roy Williams is who they went and got for Tony. They got Roy Williams for him.
Oh, God, was that terrible?
Our big swings is Dante Fowler. Like, they not even trying.
Right. Bro, and I was saying that exact same shit over here before you joined in. I was like, bro, this is the exact same song and dance we fall into every single year. And, you know, I see people talking about, let's go do what Philly did. Let's go do what the Rams did. That team does not operate like that. We know the Joneses have no pressure to fail. They don't have to get fired, and that's why they don't do it. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, let's just be real. You know what I'm saying? I'll take the bias out of it. At the end of the day, you have to pay attention to trends. The Cowboys is Blockbuster, and everybody else is Netflix. Yep. And the trend is aggressiveness. Aggressiveness wins. You know why San Fran won last week? You take everything out of it. You take the interceptions, you take everything out of it. Because the player that they went to get mid-season paid dividends. They went and got CMC. He paid direct dividends. He's the one that scored. And if it's the other running back, maybe we stop him. But they went and got somebody that's a little bit better. That's going to get it done. And if we would have stopped being cheap and just kept, I hate to say it, if you keep Amari or you get somebody legitimately to replace him, then maybe that receiver opens up the one play, because that game was that tight. We needed one play.
That's what we were saying.
We didn't have
we wanted Odell.
But no, legitimately, Odell's going to be great when he gets back healthy.
Yeah.
He ain't healthy.
No. I'm saying that's why we wanted him, because we knew we was going to need, like, I don't need him to get 5 catches for 100 yards. I just need 2 or 3 plays.
No, but we really needed him. We needed Cooks, but they was playing.
Yeah.
They should have got Cooks in the off season, but they was playing, and that's the problem. Look at Philly, unbiased. Philly said, you know what? This window is opening. This conference look weak. We going for it. Now, whether they get the job done or not, it don't matter. They've already reaped the benefits of being aggressive. Because they've leapfrogged us not only in actual talent, they've leapfrogged us in the media. No one believes in the Cowboys no more. And you know what? You know what's funny? Let me tell y'all this, and I'll let somebody else go. If it ain't Philly, before that it was the Rams aggressiveness. Before that was the Bucks aggressiveness. That's what everyone that has been having success, you get aggressive. And the funniest thing is this: we're so reactionary, we're not proactive. I'm telling you right now, they cancel these little interviews because they realize like when we could rest on our laurels last year, when they could say, I mean, New York ain't catching us, Philly ain't catching us. Who we gonna sign? We don't gotta sign nobody. It don't matter. But when you wake up in okay, Philly looks super legit. New York is right there. They signed 2 or 3 players. They a real problem. And Washington just whooped our ass, to be honest with you.
They did.
So you wake up and you like, we can't feed the fan base Dante Fowler this offseason. It ain't gonna work like that. You could do it last year because you can lie to yourself. You can't lie to yourself this year. I bet y'all this, and y'all gonna believe it. I bet you we've signed a big money free agent. I bet you we do. Or we'll do something like trade for DeAndre Hopkins because they gotta feed the fan base a bone, and they cannot fall back on we just draft and develop. It ain't gonna work.
The problem in Rome, I would agree. Here's the problem, though. They're gonna look, and I know because this is exactly what Stephen Jones said at the beginning of this year. They're gonna be like, well, the Bills got bounced in the second round, and they spent all that money, so we don't need to do that, which is bullshit. They shouldn't have said that, and I know they're gonna do that. Exactly, right? And I agree, bro. But I'm telling you, they're gonna try and find excuses to be like, no, that we don't want to do this. They're going to find excuses.
And you know what? And that's fine. And we will get our ass whipped next year.
Exactly.
And it's going to continue. If you don't want to do it this year, they're going to buckle at some point because the other teams are not going to get less aggressive.
Yeah.
Rome. One thing before, you know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to tag on to your point. It's one team you left out about being aggressive because they always aggressive. The damn Chiefs, bro. They always aggressive. And they got the best quarterback talent we've ever seen.
You know what's irony? They do both. That's why the Chiefs so dominant. They got I think they got 4 or 5 rookie starters right now. Starters. So they draft, develop, and sign players. Wow. What a novel concept. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And here's the thing.
You know what's funny? They could take their foot off the gas if they wanted to because they got Pat Mahomes. I'm not disrespecting Dak Prescott, but when you know your quarterback ain't Pat Mahomes and you're trying to talk him into trying to play like Pat Mahomes, he starts to press. Dak's problem this year was I gotta press because I don't got the talent. He shouldn't have been pressing all year because when he press, he gonna make mistakes, and he know that. You can't Pat Mahomes. You can't throw off platform.
Nope.
Get your feet right because you're not Pat Mahomes. But someone told him in his ear, you could throw sidearm. No, you can't. Stop.
I don't think I saw him throw sidearm, but I also saw him do over and over and over. I just think he needs a different voice in his ear. He over and over and over made the same identical mistake. You know, Nussmeier wasn't telling him, "Hey, you're making it." It was like he kept patting down on it. I'm not going to make that mistake. I'm not going to make that mistake. I'm not going to make that mistake. And he kept making the same mistake. So I had a funny stat come out to me, and I don't know if you can verify this, guys. It's been 48 games since Rain has had back-to-back games without having a turnover. Not an interception, a turnover. It has been 48 games. 48 games.
What?
Yes, it has been 48 games since he's had back-to-back games without having a turnover.
Hey,
that's like 3 years, bro. That's 3 years.
No. Let me do y'all the break glass moment. Guess how long Kellen Moore been our offensive coordinator?
Oh, don't you do that. Don't you do that. Don't you do that, Ron.
Guess how, you know what? It's because he sits down on that bench after he makes a bad play, and his best friend sits next to him.
Like 4 years, yeah.
He needs somebody to sit down next to him and say, stop playing like shit.
Facts. Stop
playing like shit. Instead, he looks at Kellen, and Kellen's like, hey, man, you want to run some more button hooks? Hell yeah, I want to run button hooks. And then we go
right. Go ahead, bro.
I'm being serious, though. You can't have your best friend sitting next to you.
So can we agree on one thing? Even though he has done miraculous things, a lot of this stuff we have said over and over again. He's had to go out and play Superman to do certain things to win games, and he's never had the opportunity to work underneath a different offensive coordinator to see what he can be, what he
Hey,
can
I can
accomplish,
parlay
and
on
what he
that.
can grow to. Go ahead,
Dak
go
ain't
ahead, Ron.
Superman. Dak is Batman. You not superhuman.
Facts. And
Okay.
Batman got his ass whooped a
Yeah,
lot.
got his ass whipped a lot, but he got a lot
Yeah,
of
because
nice
you not.
toys. He got,
But
yeah, he got a lot
when
of
he's
nice
able to
toys.
outsmart people, when he able to outsmart people and use his toys
Yeah,
to his advantage, he can
right,
dominate. I've
Facts.
seen
right.
Batman. I hate to be comic book nerd guy, but whatever. Batman has defeated the whole Justice League
Yep.
because he can outsmart everybody.
Yeah,
Problem is, someone told him, "Yo, you can fly because you got a cape." No, you can't. If you jump off that roof, you gonna die. You
you're
gonna die.
gonna
You
die.
can't fly.
Right, you
Hey,
can't fly.
you want to know the irony of that? The Batman thing? That's what Jalen Hurts is doing, bro. Jalen Hurts is what Dak used to be.
And he
Yeah,
hungry. And
and
he hungry. And
and he
Dak
hungry.
is full.
Yeah, and he's hungry. And he's hungry. I give you that. I give you
So
that. He is. He's playing
Dak
well.
is full.
here's
Yep.
my question
Now,
because
hopefully,
I kind of want to
he get back
get
hungry
your
this offseason.
Mm.
Rome. I want to get your definitive opinion on it because you have over the past I'll say 24 to 48 hours you have been Dak's staunchest defender. How do you feel about Dak moving forward? Because we've had the conversation before you joined the live. How
Oh,
do you feel about that? I'm
you talking
talking
about
to
me?
Rome.
Oh, it's on the wrong. Okay.
It's not that deep, y'all. I'm being honest with you. I support Dak because I know what he can do if he was coached properly and if he just followed his original foundation of being a good player. He needs to get back hungry as far as like fundamentals, and he needs to get back hungry as far as just understanding his opponent. You know what I'm saying? He didn't got lazy. I don't know what he's doing as far as his preparation, but the laziness is also a part of allowing someone to what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for?
Complacent?
It's like enabling.
Okay.
Yeah,
Complacency. Yes, complacency.
he's been coddled. He's been coddled.
Yeah,
So certainly he's
he's
been
being
coddled.
coddled, and he needs the adversity of when he first got the reason why he worked was when he got that job. It was like we lost Kellen, we lost Romo. I think we lost another quarterback. We lost like 3 people, and it's like I guess we got to put him in. And his career started off with doubt. He ain't gonna be able to get it done, and he let that fuel him.
Yeah, yeah.
Honestly, when he came
That
in and got
entire rookie
drafted,
season, it was
for really being on the active team, really. They didn't want him. They tried to take 2-3 guys before him.
Right.
exactly.
They
That
But he
was
let
the
that
hunger.
fuel
two
him.
guys before. Yeah. Yeah. They
Yeah.
tried to take 2 guys before. Yep. Go ahead.
So I'll go back to it's real simple. The reason why I believe in Dak is because I watched Daniel Jones, a turnover machine, when he got somebody that understands offense, understands strengths, and we're going to emphasize your strengths. Look at Nick Sirianni and them. You can hate on him all. Oh, he corny and all that extra stuff. I don't care. What he is going to do? All right, Jalen, you really good at these 6 things. We going to
Yeah.
maximize,
Yeah.
right? Instead of Jalen, I bet you could beat Patrick Mahomes. Let's just force it. No, no, and no. If you want to ask me, can Dak play? I watched Dak make throws that if anybody else did it, they'd be like, "Oh my God, what was that?" That throw and you could say it was an underthrow to Lamb. That's a dope throw. Third
It
and
was a
30.
good throw.
That's
It was. It was.
there's plenty of throws where it's like, "Oh snap!" I've seen Dak show me his talent when he's on point. But then when he scrambles and his coach leaves him out to dry, if you got a bunch of C receivers, your whole scheme should be rub routes and all kinds of trickery to get these dudes open. Instead, Dallas like, hey man, beat your man 1-on-1. I'm Noah Brown, dog. I can't do that. Do it anyway. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like send him out there versus like James Bradbury. Beat your man, Noah Brown. I can't. I'm just Noah Brown. Because they think that we still running out of Amari Cooper and Cedric Wilson, and we just ain't got that type of horses. So you would think, okay, we gonna use scheme to get these guys open because this is all we got, and it just refuse. It's lazy. It's lazy offensive coordinator. And I'll close with this. the reason why I know that Dak can be capable is because, look, man, your resume is your resume. If people refuse to acknowledge Dak's resume, that's up to them. But I've seen lesser quarterbacks make bigger comebacks than this. It ain't like Dak Prescott had a year where he couldn't move the ball and we missed the playoffs. He's had really high moments this year. He just has those interceptions that's like, what was that? And if you get somebody that can coach that out of him, we'll be just fine. But the problem will be if we say, you know what, we're going to run it back. Kellen Moore, Mike McCarthy, and everybody, I'm going to be skeptical. They need to fire Kellen Moore. They don't need to leave it up to him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious of this, and I'm sorry if I'm over talking. I apologize.
Good, bro.
Go ahead.
They need to. Something's brewing. Why are they so quiet? They love to talk. They cancel radio shows.
That's true. That's true.
What are they quiet for? Why are the radio shows canceled? Because they love to talk.
I'll answer why I think they don't want to talk. Because if they talk, even though the guys that work for them, they gonna ask them that question. Why didn't you? Why, in hindsight, you knew the wide receiver core was damaged. You didn't need to get rid of Amari. There was really no need to get rid of Amari because as soon as he went to Cleveland, they restructured his deal, gave him more money, and it came. So they don't have to answer that question, right? They don't have to answer the question. Are you tired? Are you tired of Rain? Are you tired of the inconsistency of the OC? They don't have to answer that question, right? They don't have to answer the question and to the lie they told us that we would write any kind of check to get a Super Bowl or we'll go get the kind of dynamic players we need to do certain things. They don't want to answer those questions because they really want us to fight amongst ourselves about Rain, this, that, and the other. Instead of saying, like you said, Kellen shouldn't have the opportunity to say, I want to be OC. Kellen should be walked out of the building. He should have had a garbage bag on the side of the curb and been escorted out of the building. But now the question is, who do you go get? Who do you go get as the OC? And do you make Mike become the OC? You want to answer that question.
I'll tell you go get Frank Wright.
Okay.
I feel like I said that name. I said that name a couple weeks ago. But yeah.
And I think the biggest thing too is that, like I mentioned before, and I'll mention again, people need to understand that teams are built from the top down, not from the bottom up. So what I mean by that is you first hire a GM, the GM brings in a coach that he thinks can win, then that coach brings in those guys, and then you get in the players, right? The problem is that when you have a general manager, whether it's Steven, Jerry, whoever, you don't have pressure. Listen, I'm 15 minutes outside Philadelphia, and I know people that work in the Eagles organization. When Howie Roseman got demoted because of Chip Kelly, dude, he did not want to lose that. So he reinvigorated himself, and he was like, fuck it, I need to do whatever I can to make sure that this team's competitive. Now they're on the precipice of getting to a second Super Bowl with him under the helm, right? You look at the Rams, you look at the Buccaneers.
But that's what the way they write contracts, makes sense for them for what they've done. But here's, like you said, there is no pressure on the front office
right.
to do anything. Nobody's gonna lose their job.
And that's what I'm getting at, is that these other guys, if they fuck up, they will be gone. And that's really the biggest story of this, is that it doesn't matter what players you have, what coaches you have. If you have a front office that's like, I want to have my offense run this way, and on top of that, I want to make sure that, maybe we actually are good with where we're at. Hey, you know what? I know I'm not going to get fired because I'm the general manager. I don't have to do anything. If I was the general manager of the Dallas Cowboys and that shit happened under my watch, my ass would be grass. Like, especially with how, it doesn't matter about how you construct the team as a guy that has no pressure, because you can literally put a 0-17 team out there and you're not going to get fired. You're not going to get fired. And the thing is, and this is why I'm very big on why I say this, you have the social media going after the quarterback. It's always a blame game, but it's never the Joneses that are blamed for anything. It's never them, because, by the way, they're the ones that are responsible for building the team. Oh, Will McClay. No, the Joneses have the final say in all of it. I don't care what anybody says. If you're blaming Dak, if you're blaming McCarthy, okay, fine. I'm not, listen, they played bad. I'm not going to defend that. Or they did their, Kellen, they didn't do well. But you, the Joneses, are responsible for building this team. And you are acting like pussies, not going on the radio and willing to answer these questions because you know you're going to get flamed for it, and you're just going to say the stereotypical nonsense, and nothing's going to get changed. That's it. That's pretty much it. It doesn't matter, dude. There's no pressure in Dallas. That's why it's a country club, because no one has any pressure to do their job well. And that seeps to the players, that seeps to the coaches, and that is why Dallas is where it's at and why they haven't gotten to that title game in 27 going on years.
Can I throw out another coaching name?
Do your thing.
I'm looking at Matt Nagy. He's with the Chiefs right now.
Mm-hmm.
He was the guy who was really known for getting Alex Smith back to where he was in Kansas City. You know what I'm saying? He's back with the Chiefs. He was with the Bears for a couple of years, got fired over there, but he's back under Andy Reid, but he was also with the Eagles for a good stint. And from what I understand, he's a guy that really likes implementing the RPO. The RPO is Dak's strength. So that's another guy that probably would fit good with what we have. I don't know if they do it, but also, incorporating the West Coast. And I think he'd fit good with Mike McCarthy.
So you're saying take Dak from having to make long reads to being in a short precision timing offense, that would be better for him. That's what you're saying, DMV?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
If it ain't there, use your damn legs. Boom.
Right. And then the biggest, and I wanted to add this wrinkle too, because a lot of people don't realize this. The Cowboys were super close to actually getting an offense that wasn't Jason Garrett-esque in 2014. You guys remember Brian Callahan? Callahan loved to do the zone runs, all that stuff. I understand Tony was a different quarterback. My point being is that they were elements that we were getting to a guy that's like, okay, he's doing things that I would want to see from an offensive coordinator. But the problem was the reason that they didn't promote him fully to the offensive coordinator was why? Because he ran an offense that the Joneses didn't like, but Scott Linehan was willing to do that. And that's not bullshit. You can go back and look. They legit.
Linehan was a thorn in his side, bro. They hated each other.
Yeah, exactly. They hated each other because Brian wanted to do it his way, and that the reason why that run game was so fucking successful, and the reason that scheme worked, and why Tony looked like an MVP quarterback, because he had an offensive philosophy which made sense for Tony. And I'm telling you, it's because of the Joneses wanting to not have they wanted cowboy football, run it up the middle, go at your man type of guy. They don't want that. They don't want that zone, like the new age stuff. And 2014 was like that last, okay, that's what I wanted to see. They don't do that anymore. They don't. Sure, you see it a couple wrinkles with Kellen, but it ain't like that, man. And that's the problem. You're making life harder for your quarterback, because remember, before Brian Callahan became in that, got into that offensive play calling room, Tony was having the problem with throwing all those interceptions. There's a season, I think it was 2012, he threw 19 interceptions. Right. And then he did that after that, or it was 2011, 2012, because I remember after Brian Callahan came into the room, Tony had 31 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 31 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, back-to-back years, and then he had the 34 touchdowns. Coaching matters, people. Coaching matters. If you don't let your coaches do their goddamn job, you're gonna get the shit we're seeing now.
So what you're saying, Space, is the offense, or better yet, the game plan. Because my question is, nobody saw this game plan of button hooks and no vertical routes. Nobody saw this game plan. It was like Kellen went and did this whole game plan, put it together, and said, this is what we're going to do. And nobody said, what the fuck is that? What are you doing? Why are we doing that?
Somebody said it. The defense was saying it. Yeah. The defense been telling us this the whole time. The defense is pissed off right now. They just can't say it in the media. Trust me.
Some of them are saying it. Some of them.
I mean, look. All I'm gonna say is, you know what I'm saying? I got friends in that building, bro. Defense ain't happy, bro. That's all I gotta say. Yeah. That's all I got to say about that.
Okay. That's an offline conversation. Okay. That's what's up. Well, yeah, man. So now that we've had a full 2-day therapeutic session of doing this, the only way to go forward is what? What's the way to go forward? What you got, Brandon? What do we do to go forward? What are the 3 things we got to go do right now before we go into this full long 4-month run of looking at defensive backs, defensive linemen, quarterbacks, wide receivers, getting tweets all day about who we need to look at that Brandon's about to hit me with. What are the 3 things you got to do right now? Tell me, B. What do you do? Look at this. Look at me. Go ahead, B. What do we do, baby?
So, obviously, the first answer is to rectify the coaching situation. Once you resolve that, you figure out who the well. Let me back up a little bit. You decide if Mike McCarthy will then be calling the offense or your new offensive coordinator. After you figure that out, you can then figure out what type of guys your new offensive and regretfully potentially new defensive coordinator will then like. You can then move forward into draft season, my favorite time of year. It's the most wonderful time of the year. You know? You can then formulate a draft strategy. Bring in, prospects. The reason that I move immediately into draft season is because I, like Space, recognize the sort of team, and rather I should say the sort of front office that we're dealing with.
Okay.
After that, things get very uncomfortable.
Okay.
2022 was, and I stated this before you and Rome joined into the live. 2022 was the year that we evaluated the coaching staff. 2023 is going to be the year that we evaluate the quarterback.
Okay.
Things are going to get very uncomfortable for that position. Things are going to get very uncomfortable for that from April until this time next year.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't a relationship. This is sports.
It's a business. Right?
So the ball is in his court because the 2024 draft class, 4 quarterbacks, deep, and it aligns. Fortunately for the team, unfortunately for Dak, after the 2023 season, with an out in his contract. So if things go great for him, he can get extended. Wonderful. The world keeps spinning. If things don't go great for Dak, he can be traded to another team, or other things can happen. The world keeps spinning.
Okay.
That is the reality of things.
Hey, DMV, give me what you got because I know you got to run out the building. Give it to me. What do you do?
I got a list. Hold on. I got a
Oh,
couple
Lord.
things.
You got a list.
I'm writing something down. Nah, but look, it really starts with number 1, new OC. I think you gotta cut ties with Kellen Moore. You have to.
Okay.
You have to. You want to keep this fan base, and you want to keep this fan base happy. You got to cut ties with your OC.
Okay.
2, possible new DC. So, like Brandon said, the coaching staff is because I don't expect Dan Quinn to be here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
yes,
you're gonna have to feel different. So you got to figure out whether or not you're going to promote somebody within or if you want to go outside. Obviously, there are guys outside that, have resumes. And then you got to go player personnel. You got to go free agency. You know what I'm saying? Like Rome said, got to explore the possibility of maybe trading for somebody or, signing a big free agent. I personally would like to trade for somebody that's young and talented, personally. You know what I'm saying? We already tried to do it with Jerry Jeudy. Y'all know I'm on board with Jerry Jeudy.
I would love it. I would love it. Come on now. Come on now. Don't get me excited.
But you got to figure out whether or not you're willing to give up some draft capital in order to do that. But if it's a young talent that you're probably going to look to extend anyway, you just got to try and figure out if that's what you want to do. Or I don't think this is a wide receiver draft like that. So far, I've been looking.
I disagree.
There will be guys. There will be guys for the Cowboys.
I mean, there always is, guys.
Don't do that yet. Don't do that yet, DB. Don't do that yet. See how you be trying to crack the bottle. No, don't crack that bottle yet, DB, because you got to go, and I want you to be able to stay on here long enough when we go and do this, because we got to put a whole game plan for that. For this. Okay, so get new OC.
Mm-hmm.
Be a player. Be a real player of free agency. And what's the last thing?
Yeah.
I think that draft, obviously, you know what I'm saying? Draft. You have to go. I mean, draft. We still have to. We're good at drafting, so I'll give us that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
We're probably better at undrafted free agents than we are at drafting, to be honest with you. But
we're good. We're good from round 5. We're good from 5 to the undrafted free agents. We're great at that. That 1, 2, 3, and 4 stuff, we kind of iffy. We about 50-50, but we do bring players in. I'll give you that. Definitely give you that.
Yeah, so I mean, those are the things that we have to do in the off season. So, I'm pretty sure the next show we're going to talk about needs. So I'll be ready for that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Go ahead. What's up, CFT? What's up, Ron?
Look, I had a little daughter issue I had to get together. That's why I did.
No, man. Hey, listen, man. Hey, don't you apologize about. Hey, don't apologize about no girls, man. Don't you apologize about having to deal with your daughter, man.
Had a little meltdown after I got back from the gym. I said, "Oh, here we go." So I ain't want to.
No, you're good, bro.
My apologies.
It's all good.
Never apologize for that. Man.
That's what's up. Hey, so we were spinning it around the room. Your 3 things we need to do. What do we need to do in order, and what do you think in order priority that we need to do before we get into Brandon's favorite time of the year? You didn't see the look on his face. Anytime we say anything, we talk about picking or choosing or looking at players, he's got this grin on his face. You didn't hear the melody. I didn't know he could sing that good. But what are the 3 things you got to do right now in your mindset? What we need to do right now?
I think the most pivotal thing right now is you need to do coaching evaluations. You need to You need to run. I'm not just talking about just the Dak situation. Everybody, we need to just tighten up. If you can tighten up in other arenas, you need to do that as well. You need to do coaching evaluations, and if some coaches ain't getting the job done, they got to go. Like, not to be funny, our D-line coach, I don't know what happened with our D-line where it fizzled at the end of the year. That should be under question. It's a lot of things where we need to be reassessing our coaching, because when you hit a brick wall, a coach should be able to coach his way out of it. So coaching evaluations, we need to fire our quarterback coach and bring in another quarterback coach, and I feel like we need to fire our offensive coordinator. Before you even get the players, you got to have the right coaches in place.
Okay.
And I just feel like we can't go in the next season with the exact same staff, or we're going to get similar results. We need to have some people get let go. If you fire some positional coaches in the right way, if you move on from Kellen in the right way, it'll light a fire under the people that remain.
Okay.
You gotta show, like, hey man, you ain't get it done. We ain't, and that'll light a fire under, hey Mike, you might be next. So
True.
Everybody needs to get it right. I don't know if they'll do that approach, but that's how I would handle it. I would put some assertiveness, like, hey man, we ain't all getting get it done. Because this is gonna be, I'm gonna let y'all know this right now, and then I ain't gonna be long with it. This is the season that Dak ain't never went through, as far as like legitimately everything this season is gonna be, should they move on from Dak before he take a snap?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And he ain't had that I don't think he's ever had that.
He never had that. He's never had that. He's never had this. This is the turn. Yep.
We 2 days in, and they already. I'm seeing trade scenarios floating around. We 2 days in.
Yeah. All that stuff about the trade scenario. Listen, man, ain't nobody got $58 million a dead cap to eat, man, to deal with that. So
he'll be here this year, but they'll be like,
I was saying, shit, the Jets probably do.
Yeah, they do.
They don't give one more year. They'll give him one more year. But my point is, next year, when there's a team like the Saints, legitimately, that has their first again, and things like that, because he'll be Dak. Let's not be crazy in a league where Geno Smith is starting. Dak will have opportunities next year, no matter how this year goes.
Absolutely.
But my point is, at the end of the day, he loved being the quarterback of the Cowboys. He do.
Yeah.
It ain't nothing like finding out, your job can be gone. He ain't protected by his contract next year. I know he has the no trade clause, But the no trade clause, not to be funny, if it ain't the beginning of the contract, when it's at the end of the contract, the no trade clause is kind of pointless because if the entire organization and the media has turned on you, you're going to want to be traded anyway.
Yeah,
So
but
right now, next year,
mhm.
he can pull a no trade clause, but when the whole organization don't want you there, you ain't going to want to be there.
Sure
Right.
enough.
Yeah, but I don't know if they bite. I don't know if they bite the bullet this year. Space, and I'm gonna let you. I don't think they bite the bullet this year, paying him 50 million. What is it? 58 million he gets paid this year, or 50 million he gets paid this
It's
year?
around 50. It's 49, but like in terms of a dead cap hit, it's over $89 million.
That's why he ain't going nowhere.
Right,
Not a player.
right, but
He's not
but
budging.
I'm talking about. Yeah, but no, I don't think by him going anywhere. I don't know if they're gonna pay him all this money this year just so they can put a lame duck situation
You
where.
know what Dak
What?
could do for some goodwill?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is when you get him. This is when Steven can get him. Say Dak go ahead and restructures and gives back 10.
Okay.
I'm telling you,
So
like this is all type of stuff. If Dak says I'll give back 10 to go get me a receiver, it will be a goodwill towards the fan base. I know. I ain't trying to count that man money. I'm just saying political. I mean, not political. PR spin is a thing.
To spin it that I'm doing everything in my power to help the team win. But here's the problem that he sits back and says, well, D-Law did the same thing last year, and you didn't go get nobody to help. You just went and pocketed the money.
Yep.
So if I'm Rain, I'm like, I'm gonna do the PR thing about giving them money, but there's no pressure on the front office to do.
Or what?
I don't.
Yeah.
Look. Hey, look. Last year, you right. This year is different, bro. This year, I'm telling you, sitting in the meetings, you can't look at Philly and laugh.
Oh no,
you can't. You got to look at Philly like, yo,
they caught our ass in 1 year.
Next year,
Right.
That's the unbiased. They're gonna sweep us next year.
Yeah.
If we don't, if you don't change certain things, if you don't change certain things, they got opportunity to do it.
I know it's a Philly fan here. Like, what is he saying? I'm just trying to keep it funky. I'm just trying to keep it funky. It is what it is. If we don't get aggressive, and they continue to be aggressive, when Jordan Davis grow up and things like that.
Ooh, shit.
Jesus.
Ooh.
It could get real dark real soon.
God. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Once he get that baby fat and they make him really run where he can play more than 2 downs, it's gonna be a problem. They're gonna be a flat out problem.
They got their own issues because they signed a bunch of 1-year dudes and then they got to pay Jalen. They got their own issues. But my point is, the gap that you used to say is there is gone.
It's no longer there,
bro. New York bringing 2 receivers and another defender, and it's like, well, we got 2 Phillies on our hand because Dayball can coach.
Yeah, Dayball can't pull it. Dayball can coach. Washington may take football Wizards may take a step back, but you still got those other 2 teams you got to fight in your division. So you're right.
Hey, last time we played them, they whooped our ass, so they got some confidence.
We got to sit on that.
Yeah.
Right, DMV.
Yeah.
We got on that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay.
So Space. Let's round it out with you. What are your areas of operation?
I'm
getting things done.
I'm getting a pin out for this one because I know Space about to come with that smoke.
Realistically, there are 2 ways you could go. Well, not even 2 ways. When you go about trying to fix this team, you either go the full rebuild, which is impossible because of the status you're in, or you tool it or retool it. Right? You can retool this roster's at a point where you can retool it and you'll be just fine next year. So. But if it's, if it were me being a GM, liquidate all assets and let's start from scratch. That's just my personal opinion.
Damn, you gonna scorch earth it?
Sometimes, hey, when you're a new GM, sometimes you got to do that. But that's if the situation requires it. But hey, that's what Bill Parcells did, and look what happened. But anyways, nothing happened. But anyway. But let's talk about retooling. Mike McCarthy's your coach. We made that abundantly clear. You got 12-5 win season, 12-5 back-to-back seasons, and you've improved every single time. So you're good. They're the coach, dude. We're cool. However, you need a new OC. You need a new quarterbacks coach. And I personally think you just need to churn your assistant coaches there. Next, you need to look at getting some new DCs. For me, it's already been named. I already had 2 names, which was Matt Nagy and Frank Reich. I say get Frank Reich in here, bring in a DC. Either you promote Joe Wood Jr. I think you got guys like Vic Fangio out there. You got guys like Brian Flores out there. There are guys that are out there that you can coach and take. I would take one of those guys. Cool. We can go from there. Now, I would evaluate who they take, and then that would be but here's my thing. Offensively, load up your wide receiving core with as many weapons as possible. I'm not afraid to trade draft capital. A second round pick, fuck it. Go give me Brandon Cooks. Go give me X, Y, and Z. I don't care. We need good players. That's all you need. I would love to go young. Trust me. I was big on getting Jerry Jeudy last year, and they were in talks about it, but I'm not giving up a first round pick for Jerry Jeudy. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that. But I would give up a second, third, like those types of draft capital. I'm loading up my wide receiving core. Let me go get D-Hop. Let me go get this guy. Get me somebody aside from Lamb. I need someone there. And then I can maybe draft a guy. You could definitely draft a guy there. That also, with loading up the wide receiving core, that includes drafting somebody. Next, I hate to say this. Zeke, I love you, bro. It's I might have to old yell. I'm sorry. We got to take you outside. I hate to do.
You taking him out to the pasture, dog?
Damn. Right behind the shit.
You taking him on that long ride? You taking him on the long ride, Space?
I'm sorry, but he's cooked, bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a fullback now. He's a fullback.
If the PCL injury took everything out of him, I hate because I love Zeke so much. I cannot believe it's been this long since he's been. It sucks, but Zeke, you gotta go. You gotta go, dude. Unless you take the money that you're paying, unless I'm paying you $4 million like a year, like dude, I'm not paying them. No. So I need new running backs. I need guys in here that has speed. He's cooked here. Yeah. Listen, I'm not saying Zeke can't go somewhere else and get solved for depending on the situation. But I'm just saying here. Dude, I need some juice with like we saw with Pollard. When you have juice with your running backs, like what happened after Pollard went out? We talked about it.
Yeah.
There was nothing. So
nothing happened.
There are running backs I really do love in this class. I'm going to be doing those scouting. I'm going to be doing those scouting reports on my channel. I got 5 favorites. So now I will say right now, the guy from UCLA is my personal favorite for late round draft capital. However, what is it? The Alabama dude and
another one.
The Texas. Those are guys in this draft class. Give me some new running backs, and also with Pollard, you're probably going to franchise tag him, and he'll probably. I wouldn't. I'm not a fan of paying running backs, but they will do that. But if they do that. Like I told you, I want my money going somewhere else. So new running backs. I don't care if you have the double dip. Give me some new guys with juice. That's what I need there. And finally,
hey, you want to run it back at 26?
What now?
I was about to say that. By the way, you might see if Bijan's there at 26 and Zeke isn't on this team anymore. They might take Bijan. Well, I don't like it. I don't like it, either, but they will do that.
I'm about to say, have you met your team? You know how much you value running backs here?
Dude, they will do it if they get the chance, especially a Texas running back.
Because it's always about the double dip.
Money,
they
and
want
it's
the
Texas.
player, but they want the marketing.
There you go.
They'll take him for the marketing.
So finishing up my soliloquy, the biggest thing, kind of going to Brandon's point, if you want to put pressure on Dak, give the guy weapons to operate. Well, first, get him an OC that could put him in an offense that will make him uncomfortable. Like, what I mean by that is not uncomfortable, like literally, like make him suck. I'm saying make it so that, dude, I'm going to make this as easy as possible for you, and I'm going to coach the hell out of you. If you're not doing shit, you're going to get out of here. That's what you got to do. Get him weapons. Get him the run game. What I mean by a run game, that includes, hey, continue loading up your O-line. Get new running backs in here for some juice, and let's roll from there. Then, in 2023, if he doesn't perform, we're having those conversations.
Can I tell y'all something that's going to happen that's going to blow your mind? This is what Mike McCarthy. This is a Mike McCarthy special. This year, from the 4th round back, maybe the 3rd round, they're going to draft a quarterback. So don't be surprised when that happens.
That's fine with me. Listen, that's fine with me. I was actually about to put that on. Like,
yeah,
don't be afraid.
I actually think they should.
That was gonna be my last
and
part.
The fan base going to want him to start from day one, but it might be what Dak needs.
Right, and that was my last point: is don't be afraid to draft a quarterback. Don't be
They're gonna
afraid.
take one. I'm with you.
Do not be afraid, because you want to know why? Because ultimately, as a front office, if I was the GM and you want to fully evaluate your quarterback and see if he can build under that pressure and see if he can go back to, like, not go back, because I know he can do it. If this dude tosses 40+ touchdowns with that type of situation, then I don't have a fucking problem giving him an extension. Which honestly,
they
that's
used to draft quarterbacks when Aaron Rodgers before Jordan Love. Before Jordan Love, they would draft quarterbacks.
So that's my big thing. If you want to make life uncomfortable for Rain,
he did. He went and got Hundley. You went and got a bunch of guys.
You need to
Don't
put
be
him in the
I might
position.
do a video about that tomorrow. They gonna draft a quarterback.
Oh yeah.
They definitely
that.
want them to. I just can see it. I can. The fan. You think the fan base split now? I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
They gonna be like, he the next one.
He's the next one. So DMV Trucker asked a question, and I know DMV has to leave. And so I guess for those who love kicking it with us here at Franklin Football, I guess we're gonna have to work a little bit more often, a whole lot more often, because Brandon ain't gonna let me not work this year. Last year we kind of took a back seat on the draft. Yeah, I know you're not, because we're gonna have a draft show every 2 days with you, between me and you and DMV and John and Space.
Hey, but don't underestimate what the people want, man. You think the people don't want it? You can drop content every day. They want it.
I know. Yeah. Oh, definitely, brother. We watched it. We watched you grow and do it. So
they
definitely, it's something you got to do.
You got it, because draft ain't even my thing. I'm gonna be watching.
Yeah.
I don't. That's my weak point. I don't know how to evaluate draft.
Got you. So here's the question. We've been talking about what we need OC, this, that, and the other. And DMV Trucker asked in the chat, what do we do with Tyron?
Draft an offensive lineman every year within the first 3 rounds.
I trade him. They won't do it, but he got some value. I would trade him.
He has a very team friendly contract. You keep him until he doesn't want to play anymore.
Well, question. I think it depends on. I think it really just depends on how well Steele, you know what I'm saying, can come back and play.
Yeah.
Because he got hurt late.
I don't know why they ain't put him at left, but that's just me. I would have figured it out at right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm with you, Rome, because then you could draft a guy this year and it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? I'm with you.
Because you realize that what you got in Tyler Smith is the
right.
Like I'm so apologizing to him, like, for how everybody reacted. You know, because he's not only a dog, he is willing to do everything.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm like, Tyler Smith with everything. He the best type of player.
Yeah.
I'll play guard. He plays center. He don't even care. Like,
he'll do whatever. Yeah, he'll do whatever he needs to do for the team.
On the left side and ride him.
And you know what? He probably will excel because he that type of player. He like, I can see his evolution this year. Man, protect that dude. Go get another one of them. I don't know who it is, but go get another one of them.
So Northwestern.
See,
Northwestern.
You deep into the. You got to. I don't know.
Boy, y'all are terrible.
I know Brandon though.
Y'all are terrible. God, y'all are terrible. But okay.
You had to put me on. I don't know who you talking about. I know this.
I'm not gonna pull out my notes. I'm not gonna.
So
okay. Go ahead. Go with Space.
My main thing is this, right? You got a team-friendly deal. Terrence Steele's hurt and a restricted free agent.
Right.
So if it were me, knowing with the situation you're in, okay, you still draft a guy.
Yep.
But you bring him back for at least one more year. I'm okay
I'm
with
fine
him.
with that. I like that.
And here's the thing, because ultimately the timeline, because if Terrence Steele had no issues with the injury, I'm having a different conversation with you.
Yes.
Because what I'm worried about with you getting an ACL injury late as an offensive lineman, what's that going to look like? And how much is that going to affect the contract talks?
To your point, I don't know. Like, I've heard these stories. This is just nuance to this. I've heard that Tyron Smith is just like literally like a part of the Jones family. Like, they're really close. I'm almost positive he don't want to play for nobody else.
Oh, he would retire before he goes to somewhere else.
He might retire so that he might not have trade value. So you might as well, you know what? You might as well just use him. You right? Because he's an asset to you, but he won't be an asset to nobody else. Because if you trade him, he's going to be like, I'm good. Because he done made his money.
Right.
And here's
he
the
made
thing.
more than enough money.
Too. He don't look like he spend money on nothing.
So my thing is we kind of understand that the game plan is that Tyler Smith is the future left tackle of this team. We know that. We know that for a matter of fact. So if you bring back, let's just say hypothetically, you bring back Connor McGovern. Okay, my left side, I know what I got. But if it were me, just draft a left guard. That's just me personally. But that right tackle spot, I think that will be a lot easier on his body because he's not doing as much. I'm not saying the dude's not going to get hurt again, but I think the plan is put him at right tackle moving forward until Terrence Steele returns, and then you can do that because I think he's got one more year in him, and then he's gone. So
and it might be good to let Terrence Steele come back.
That's the big thing too. Let him heal. You give him his money, and then you have Tyler Smith, insert draft pick at left guard, your center, Zach Martin still doing his thing, and then right tackle, you got Terrence Steele moving forward. And here's the key thing. We only had him for 1 year, Tyler Smith, and we saw what he can do. He's only going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or you could draft Tyler Steen.
Draft who?
Okay. No, hey, Space, don't say that again, because he'll give you a whole breakdown on the guy that nobody's had a chance to look at yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a couple weeks before I dive head first. I can't.
I understand. But what I think you have to go in precedence order. You do have to get better at the offensive line, and I do like the thinking that y'all have about with Tyron Smith, because honestly, he's a younger version of what you wanted Peters to be, a teacher and a guy who can come and give you spot duty and play extremely well when he comes in. So I can understand. And like you said, with Steele being hurt so late and you don't want to rush him back, and everybody's scared of rushing a guy back the way Gallup came back. But I told everybody, I said it, even though you might not want to remember, I said he wasn't going to be ready. I said he wasn't going to be right. And we put him out there anyway. And then the whole world's looking like, what everybody's saying, well, why is he? Because he got hurt in December. And he was already a slow healer as it was. So I expect him to be better next year, but that doesn't prohibit me from going and drafting a wide receiver or going and getting another wide receiver in free agency. Because I think we have talented players. I just don't think we have talented groups at each level.
Yeah.
Can y'all follow me on that? I don't think we have talented groups.
It doesn't work well together. It doesn't mesh well.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. So you lucked up in some different areas. Like, let's just say, I'm gonna just give you defensive side of the ball. You lucked up in some areas by getting Hankins. Ghost has been there all year. He turned around to find out to be a monster. You got 6 sacks out of Dorrance. You got Sam. So if Sam comes back next year, what do you use him for? I think you got maybe 1 or 2 more years for DeMarcus Lawrence to play to be the monster that he is, and you're going to have to replace him. So do you have him on the roster, or you got to go draft a guy linebacker-wise? You're sitting here right now with a question. There's so many questions at linebacker, and you're really thinking about, can you get LVE for $38 next year? You're really thinking about it. But the only reason you're thinking about LVE paying him another $38 is because you went and paid and got the equity for the defensive tackle like you did with Hankins. You follow me? So that's the question.
Speaking of D tackle, that's going to show up next year.
I just named him.
Ghosting is different, bro. Ghosting going to be all right.
Yeah. Ghost. Okay.
Give me baby David Irving vibes, but that's just me.
I miss David Irving. I miss David Irving's body. Like he had the front pause. He had the frame. He had the frame. He had a frame that was rare. If only he loved football. Yeah. He had a frame that was rare. If only he loved football, and he still hates football to this day. He still hates football to this day.
Yeah. Okay. So all right. So and then. And so you got that, and what you think about with Chauncey, and then with the defensive secondary, you kind of found out you lucked up on Bland. You just totally lucked up on Bland. This is I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna say it here first. This offseason, you're gonna have a problem with Trayvon. I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there now, so it's already out here in the water. It's in the ether. You're going to have a problem with Trayvon Diggs this year. Trayvon Diggs is going to be a problem. Okay, And we might as well get ready for it. So we might want to be looking at another cornerback, but you have a problem with Trayvon this year. I can already see it coming.
Yeah.
I can already see it coming.
Yeah.
So
man. I can definitely see, and just because of we can kind of see the fallout from the aftermath of this game. But that's kind of a story for another time, because I know that we're kind of running into time constraints.
Got you.
So, I kind of want to end things here. I want guys to be able to, return to their obligations and things like that. So, Rome just off. Yeah.
Rome dropped off.
And there they go. DMV, tell the people where they can find you, good sir.
You guys can find me on DMV Fanatic on YouTube.
My man.
DMV Fanatic on Twitter. I mean, DMV Fanatic 1 on Twitter, and the real DMV Fanatic on Instagram. Guys, we're going to be putting out a lot of content, and I'm just going to let y'all know, I can't really give too much away, but your boy's going to be a crazy ghostwriter out here in these streets. So y'all, I'm going to be a ghostwriter out here, so y'all stay tuned in.
No doubt.
No doubt. Space, please plug yourself, sir.
Sure. You guys can follow me at Space Cowboy Media. We hit 10K to start 2023, which is awesome. So with that, thank you. So with that being said, I cannot wait for draft season. Why? Because this is the first time not only doing mock drafts, I'm going to be putting out scouting reports for my top 5 at each position group. You're going to be seeing a lot more of that. And the big thing is I'll talk about some trade stuff. People were like, don't do that because the Cowboys are going to do. I'm like, no, I don't give a shit. But yeah, if you want that, follow me over at Space Cowboy Media. You can follow me on Twitter at Space Cowboy MED. Can't wait for draft. Cannot wait to do that deep dive into draft content because it's going to be fun this year.
Here we go.
Love it. Chris, take us out.
Hey man, listen, I'm sorry I got in here late, but it never fails, man. You always gonna find great content here on Frankly Football, man, because we're gonna go, if we don't know it, we're gonna outsource it and find the best people, man, to talk about it. So listen, if you rock with us for this period of time, hit the like button, okay? If you rock with it this long, share it, man, because we're in here diving into this football team that you love and that you love and we love together. So go ahead and do that. But more importantly, man, drop a comment here in the section, man, and let us know how you feel about what we're doing. Listen, as always, man, I say this, and we said it best because I was late. Robin was always late. He'd come at the end like, wowzers, Batman, what did you just do? I ended up being late because I am his Robin. He is the Batman of this team, man. And together, man, we will always make up Frankly Football. And until next time,
peace.